It's spooky month. It's time for spooks and scares and terrifying creatures. And I don't know if you'd say it's starting off strong. I think it's starting off strong enough. It's kind of like the first creature design that came to my head for spooky month. Big, spooky, part horse-looking creatures, part humanoid. Gave them some items. The little horse whip, I forgot what they're called, but just showing that he's is part of the horses. And I couldn't really think of what to do with those really far back legs. I thought about either doing wheels or another set of horses, but I just decided on weird looking spider legs. Just cause, no real reason. Well, there is a reason. The wheels looked kind of weird behind the horses when I sketched them, and I didn't want to draw the back of horses in this type of perspective. So there's my reasoning on that. Also, to make it more monstrous, I did like kind of skin folds over where the eyes would be. Although in the human one, it's kind of more like there were no eyes to begin with. Or maybe it was a cyclops, if it is a skin fold over the eyes for consistency. I did use a horse reference, and that is the only reference I used. I just looked up horse on Google and found one that was kind of sort of in this pose and angle. Pose of standing there. Angle of kind of turned away. Just a little. Like 3/4. And now I'm doing my rendering. I sure do love rendering. That's what I do for like most of it. I know, crazy. So for spooky month, I'll try to do a little bit more spooky things, you know, as different of a spooky thing can be from my regular stuff. Or maybe not, who knows. Basically, I'm just saying, I'm gonna do what I've always been doing. Nothing will change, but now I'll just be saying it's Spooktober. It's spooky month. Right now I'm basically just adding in shadows without doing like a multiply layer, even though I end up doing a multiply layer. But I like doing shadows beforehand, or at least to some extent. And then sometimes I don't even need a multiply layer if I like it the way it looks. But this time I thought I could use a multiply layer. I went with Gemini as the title of this, just because when I did the horses I was like, they're like twins. And I gave them the little Gemini symbol on their forehead, at least in the sketch and later on in the painting process. And I got that like Gemini symbol on the forehead all the way from the, I don't remember exactly what the game is called, but it was the Fran Bow game, like the point and click game, horror game from I don't even know how long ago now. But at one point there was like a doll with the Gemini symbol on its forehead and it's stitched to another doll. So that's where I got the Gemini on the foreheads for the twins. And then it kind of ends up being triplets in this one though, because there are 3 Gemini symbols, just because I put them on every single head. But you know, who says that it can't be triplets? Even though Gemini is very specifically twins. Why can't it be triplets, huh? Why not? Let's just say that the horses are one entity. Yeah. And their twin is the humanoid part. Let's go with that, yeah. So here I'm adding those Gemini symbols, and I try to make it look more like it's engraved by adding little like scars and cracks around the symbols. Right now I'm just trying to add more weird skin. How would you describe this? It's like a skin that's more of a putty, more of a twisted flesh type thing, stretched skin, but like in a very not natural way. Now I'm at horse crop. That's what it's called, I think. The thing to hit the horses with to make them go faster. That's what he's holding, and then also a pipe, because why not? Does a little smoking in this dark void. Just relieves the nerves of being a horrible monstrosity attached to your siblings? Question mark? I'm not really sure what the lore is. I couldn't come up with anything other than, I don't know. I thought about doing like the Pale Horseman of Death, but not really death coded. No scythe, no skull. Pale horse, yes, but that's it. So that's why I went with Gemini and not like the Pale Horse Rider or something like that. Well, and the symbols, but maybe whatever. For the shadows, I'm now using a multiply layer with I decided to go with a really faded blue instead of purple, just because the background and the character is blue. So then all the reflections would end up being blue, so there should not be any red lights or red materials reflecting shadows on the stuff. Or not reflecting shadows, but reflecting light into the shadows. There's none that would make it red. I hope that made sense. I feel like it didn't, but whatever. I'm now adding the smoke, which I don't think I've ever done like a actual smoking character / creature where it was like blowing smoke anywhere, at least in detail. So this time, you know, I kind of went crazy with it. Kind of put a whole lot. But also I think it balances out the bottom being the super wide 2 horses. So now the top has also some more interesting stuff to look at. And it gives a little more personality to this creature. And it also gives a good reason why he's doing this weird pose. It's all coming together. Pretty soon I try to add Terminator lines in on the shadows. I do it with an overlay layer, and I do a orange, I believe. Like a light orange for the Terminator. Even though there's not really a orange light, I kind of did it just because the smoke filtering whatever bright light this is through it would kind of change up how everything looks. And I also add all this red orange behind it for the smoke. Smoking's bad for you. Look at what it did to this background. It made it red. That could be in your lungs. Yuck. At least this amount would be probably not great. Anyway, I use screen to add a whole bunch of like really shiny bright light. And then I add some dust particles and light too, just because it feels like it'd be a dusty place. I don't know. And yeah, that's day 1 of Spooktober, spooky month. Hooray! Bye. Have a good day. Bye. 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 See you next time. Bye. Bye.